Hi, Muse. It's me. Again. Me. Why am I here? I don't know. I don't really know. Because sometimes I feel like I am screaming into the void of space where no one can hear you scream. Yeah, it really does feel like that sometimes. And I'm sure that it feels like that for every artist out there. You feel like that every day you're just speaking to an empty house. And that's just the way it is. Now, Muse, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to talk about today. In fact, I actually had a few different subjects to talk about. I was going to talk about humor and how no one is really as funny as they think they are. But then I thought, does anybody really want to hear about that? Actually, a lot of people do, and a lot of people should. And I will probably talk about it later on. But right now, I want to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart. And it's something that a lot of artists either want to hear talked about or want to talk about desperately, but are afraid to talk about because they're going to feel and look like a failure. Yeah, I said failure. The F word. Failure. Because that's what a lot of us feel like. Big, fat, flopping failures. And I've talked about this ad nauseum. And one of the things that I was going to talk about after I realized that I probably shouldn't talk about humor today, because I was in no humor for humor, I thought, let's talk about why you as writers should consider finding a small press instead of just going it alone. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I just made the executive decision because there are other topics I was thinking about, but that feels pretty good right now. I am what's called a hybrid author. I have books that are published by myself, and I have books that are published by a publisher. And here's the thing. Here's the truth. The real truth that a lot of people don't want to say. They don't want to hear. They don't want to mention. The truth of the matter is it's just harder going at it alone. It really is. Why? Because there are hundreds of thousands of authors out there going at it alone. And there are thousands and thousands of authors out there with publishers. And when you pile all of those authors on top of one another, you get a massive, massive hill of authors, and every single one of them is clamoring to get to the top. And the problem is, the thing that compounds this problem, is that, fewer and fewer people are reading. And there's a reason for that. Number one, we just went through and are still on the outskirts of a pandemic. And because of that, people have less disposable income. And when they have less disposable income, they're going to be really picky with the dollars they spend on their entertainment. And right now, we are in kind of a boon for television. So people are spending their hard-earned coin on streaming services. And it's the easy out. It's the easy way. I watch a lot of television. I pay for a number of streaming services. And the thing is that it's just really easy for people to sit down on a couch, flip on their television, and spend a couple of hours with mindless viewing. And that's part of the key there. It's mindless. They don't have to use their brains for the average television show. So you have all of this combined together, which amounts to it being harder and harder for every author out there to be seen. And it's not just self-published authors. It's authors with small publishers. It's authors with traditional publishers. Everybody's having a hard time getting seen. I have heard from friends who are traditionally published, and they are having trouble. And that's one of the things that so many people, one of the things about this industry that really bothers me is that people don't want to ever really talk about the truth. They don't want to They don't want to speak the words because, again, it's going to make them come off as a failure. And no artist wants to look like a failure because it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The second you are seen as a failure, or the second that you speak about something that might make you look as if you're a failure, the public at large will see you as a failure and they will think, well, their art must not be worthy of purchasing. So that is the reason why so many authors refuse to talk about this kind of subject. That it is just really, really hard right now. And it's one of the reasons why I have lately focused most of my attention on my publisher. Because I know how hard it is for them, and it's exponentially harder for me going it alone. Now think about it. If you are a self-published author and you are considering, you're weighing the pros and cons of finding a small publisher or a traditional publisher, I don't like that. Because small publishers are traditional publishers. They're just smaller than large publishers. So you have like A-list publishers and B-list publishers and C-list publishers and on down the line. They're all publishers. But if you are a self-published author and you are considering finding a press, a publisher, here's why I think you should. This is the moment, this is the perfect opportunity. Okay? Simply because most self-published authors are struggling mightily. Makes sense. There are too many of them. There are too many books out there. I know that sounds crazy. But there are so many books out there that they vastly outnumber the readers. So when you go it alone, you're alone. And the only chance that you have to get the help of other writers is when you join an anthology and do like a share or exchange or a blurb exchange or whatever. Now, if you opt to go the route of a publisher, you have a little bit more at your disposal. Okay? Let's say you go with Publisher X, and Publisher X has very popular author A. Right? All of a sudden, one of your marketing tools is, I'm with the same publisher as author A. So automatically, the public is going to view you as a more successful author. Not only because you're with a publisher, but you're with a publisher who publishes a very popular author. Because a publisher who has a very popular author is less likely to publish an author that doesn't have what it takes. They're going to want to hire or publish authors that have a chance of being successful. They want your voice for a reason. So that is a great marketing tool for you. Now, that does not mean you should abuse that. You should not all of a sudden inundate social media with, I'm a part of the same publisher that has author A. You should read me because you like author A, because you are riding on the coattails of author A. Instead, it should be more on the lines of, I'm honored to be a part of the Publisher A family. Or Publisher X. I don't remember which letter I used for that. I am honored to be a part of Publisher X. That is a good tool for you to use. On top of which, there's going to be some kind of marketing adjacent things that are going to happen. Because, for example, when people search out that author A with Publisher X, especially if they go to Publisher X's website, they're going to see author A, but they're also going to see you listed on that same website. And that has power. Okay? You don't get that if you're self-published. You don't get that at all because you're by yourself. When you, for example, when readers go to my website, jackwallen.com, they only see books written by me. If, for example, readers go to Devil Dog Press, they'll see books written by me, by Mark Tufo, by Jamie Jonassy, a whole host of other authors. All of them really, really good. And that's the key. When you're looking for a publisher, especially when you're going down the A, B, C, D, E list, you want to find a publisher that publishes authors of a certain quality. That means you're going to have to do a little bit of homework. Read their books. Don't just look at reviews. Don't see which authors they have. Go to Amazon, see how many reviews they have and what star reviews they have. Read their books. Doesn't mean you have to read them all, but read a representation of what their work is. Because, let's face it, there are books out there. I know some books, trust me. There are books out there that are not good. They are not well written. They are not well edited. They are not good stories. They do not contain good characters. They are two-dimensional, superficial. But at the same time, they have a lot of reviews. So when you're looking for a publisher, you want to make sure that the books that they publish feel good to you and are a good match for what you offer. It doesn't mean they have to be the same, but find publishers that publish authors and authors' works that are on the same level as yours. Okay? This is your work. These are the books that you've spent so much time and effort on. Don't just jump at the first publisher willing to take you on. Do your work and make sure you know it's a publisher you want to work with. And it's a publisher that has some success in marketing. Because it's not easy if you think it's not easy for you, imagine you are the marketer for a publisher that has hundreds of books. And you've got to market all of those. Now, so multiply your failure by hundreds, and you have the pressure that is on the shoulders of the publishing house marketer. It's just not easy out there. So anything you can do to help yourself out, why wouldn't you? Now, I know it's so much easier to publish on your own. And I know that the rejection that we have to live with from publishers is hard. But this is worth it. And if you get rejected by the first publisher, and you very well might, find another one. Keep looking, keep submitting until you land on a publisher. And that doesn't mean you have to stick with the same publisher, unless they have exclusivity in their contract. You could publish one genre with one publisher, another genre with another publisher, and also work your way up. Start off with the C and B list publishers and with the hopes of finally landing that A list publisher. You've got to do the work. You've got to spend the time, because the effort that you put into it will pay off. But if you just keep going the safe route by publishing yourself, because you know you can do it, you're not going to move forward. And unless that you get really, really, really lucky, because luck plays a huge part in this, unless you get extremely lucky, you're going to struggle on your own. You're going to struggle with a publisher. You're an artist. Let's face it, artists struggle. That's why they call us struggling artists. We struggle. In every medium known to man, artists struggle. I know bands that I listen to every day, and I love their music, and they struggle. Actors that I know that are fantastic, struggle. Dancers, painters, directors, sculptors. Every kind of artist struggles. That's just a part of it. And it's sad. And there's no way around it. Especially now, people want your art for free. Think about this. 20 years ago, no one would have given their books away for free or would have sold a book for 99 cents. That's where we are. Think about it. How many months of your life did you spend writing and perfecting that novel before it was published, only to turn around and either give it away for free or sell it for 99 cents, at which you're going to make about 37 cents from? Yeah, that's where we are. So everything you can do, everything and anything you can do to get a leg up, do it. If that means you've got to find a publisher, do it. It's not going to get any easier, I promise you. It's only going to get harder. And you think that every time you publish a novel, every time, because I do this, every time, this is the one. I have almost 50 books published. So if you think after publishing your first or second or third book that it's going to start getting easier, I've got news for you, buddy. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And yet, here we are. Because we're artists. It's what we do. Anyway, that's all I got, Muse. That's all I got. Now I'm going to go outside and run 10 miles just because I want to punish myself even more. Yay! Thank you for listening, Muse. And thank you, people, fellow artists, and people who just love artists and support artists. Thank you so much. You, my friends, are awesome.